Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the UES Horizon, watching the crystalline structures of the Vex-Terry diplomatic vessel glitter against the backdrop of Jupiter's storms. After 6 months of careful communication, this would be humanity's first face-to-face contact with the alien civilization. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on her shoulders. Final systems check complete, Captain. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station. The diplomatic team is ready for transport. Chen nodded, her dark eyes fixed on the alien ship. Something about its biomechanical architecture made her uneasy. As a veteran of the Mars colonial wars, she learned to trust her instincts. Double-check the emergency protocols, she ordered quietly, just in case. The diplomatic team, led by Ambassador Marcus Wong, departed for the neutral station constructed specifically for this meeting. Chen watched through the external cameras as they crossed the void between ships, their white environmental suits marked with the United Earth government insignia. The Vex-Terry emerged from their vessel simultaneously. They moved with an unsettling fluidity, their crystalline exoskeletons refracting light in hypnotic patterns. Their official transmissions had never shown their full forms. Now Chen understood why. The sight might have caused panic among the general population. The meeting began cordially enough. Ambassador Wong presented Earth's greeting gift, a holographic representation of human artistic and scientific achievements. The Vex-Terry Supreme Coordinator, who called itself Angstara, examined it with its compound eyes. Fascinating. The alien's translated voice echoed through the station's comm system. Such rapid development for such a young species. Tell us, how did you achieve faster-than-light travel so quickly? Wong smiled diplomatically. Human innovation thrives on challenge. When we dream of something, we find a way to make it reality. The temperature in the room seemed to drop as Angstara's crystalline form shifted colors. Dreams? You achieved stellar travel through dreams. The translator couldn't quite capture the tone, but Chen recognized contempt when she heard it. Through determination, scientific method, and human ingenuity, Wong clarified. We're eager to learn from more experienced spacefaring races, but we're also proud of our achievements. The Vex-Terry delegates conferred in their native language, a series of sharp clicking sounds that made Chen's teeth ache. When Angstara spoke again, the pretense of diplomacy had vanished. Your species is dangerous, it declared. You advance too quickly, without proper guidance or understanding. Your dreams and ingenuity make you unpredictable, unstable. Wong maintained his composure. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge exchange. Peace. Angstara's form pulsed with deep red light. Your history is written in blood. Your entertainment glorifies conflict. Your technological advances are driven by warfare. We have studied you, humans. You cannot be trusted with the power you've stumbled upon. Chen's hand moved to her emergency protocols as she watched the Vex-Terry warriors position themselves around the human delegation. She'd seen this before, not with aliens, but with humans. The posture of predators preparing to strike. Supreme Coordinator, Wong tried one last time. Surely we can discuss. The Council has made its decision. Angstara interrupted. Your species will be contained. Your colonies will be isolated. Your technology will be confiscated. This is not a negotiation. Chen had already given the evacuation order when Wong spoke his final words. If you think humanity will submit to containment, you understand nothing about us at all. The Vex-Terry weapon discharge, a beam of crystalline energy that should have vaporized the ambassador. Instead, it passed through a hologram. The real delegation had been evacuated seconds earlier. Wong's final words a pre-recorded message. As the UES Horizon engaged its emergency FTL drive, Chen sent a brief message to Earth Command. First Contact Protocol Delta. They mean to cage us. Recommend immediate implementation of the Prometheus contingency. In the following hours, as humanity prepared for an inevitable war, Chen remembered Angstara's words about human entertainment glorifying conflict. The alien hadn't understood. Humans didn't glorify war. They simply refused to submit to tyranny, no matter the odds. The Vexteri would learn what countless human tyrants had discovered throughout history. Trying to cage humanity was like trying to cage a solar flare. You might contain it for a moment, but the resulting explosion would consume everything in its path. Admiral James Kenzo stared at the holographic display showing Earth's orbital defense network powering down. Around him, in the underground command center beneath the Himalayas, military leaders from every major nation watched in silence as humanity seemingly surrendered without a fight. Signal loss confirmed across all orbital platforms, reported General Maria Santos. The Vexteri will read this as total systems failure. Operation Ghost Protocol is now active. Kenzo allowed himself a grim smile. The aliens' first mistake had been assuming humans would fight conventionally. Their second was believing the surface data they were gathering. "Show me New Shanghai," he ordered. The hologram shifted to display the sprawling metropolis. To orbital surveillance, it appeared to be descending into chaos. Crowds flooding the streets, power outages, apparent panic. In reality, every movement was choreographed, every blackout strategic. Deep beneath the city's surface, the largest underground manufacturing complex ever created was coming online. 30 million civilians had been evacuated through the new subterranean network, replaced by holographic heat signatures and automated movement patterns. The Vexteri intercepted our leaked defense plans. Director Chen Wei reported, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface. They believe our primary military installations are here, here, and here. The hologram highlighted several obvious bunkers around the globe. All empty. All rigged. "What about Project Tesseract?" Kenzo asked. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stepped forward, her augmented eyes glowing softly. "The quantum entanglement network is complete. When the Vexteri attempt to disable our communications, they'll be attacking dummy systems. Our real network exists in a dimensional space they can't detect, let alone disrupt." The room's atmosphere was tense but focused. Humanity had spent centuries fighting itself, developing strategies for asymmetric warfare, guerrilla tactics, and psychological operations. Now those skills would serve a greater purpose. "Report from Luna Base," announced Colonel Jackson. "The Vexteri scout ships are approaching. They're scanning the automated mining operations. The mining operations that were now producing something very different from minerals. Beneath the lunar surface, nanofabrication facilities were churning out millions of microscopic machines designed to infiltrate and analyze Vexteri technology. They see exactly what we want them to see," Kenzo said. "A primitive species, technologically outmatched, descending into panic at the first sign of superior force." He turned to face the assembled leaders. "How long until full mobilization?" 3 days, General Santos replied. "Every major population center has been secretly evacuated. Industrial production has been shifted underground. The surface installations are running on automated systems, maintaining the illusion of normal activity while rigged for strategic destruction." Dr. Tanaka interjected. "The adaptive defense grid is online. Every piece of civilian technology, from kitchen appliances to children's toys, has been reprogrammed. The moment the Vexteri launch their attack, they'll face an entire planet of hostile technology." A junior officer rushed in, tablet in hand. "Admiral, we're detecting a massive energy surge from the Vexteri fleet. They're preparing to move." Kenzo nodded. The Vexteri would strike soon, expecting to find a disorganized, primitive civilization ready for conquest. Instead, they would find a ghost world, rigged with traps, powered by technology they couldn't comprehend, defended by a population that had transformed their entire planet into a weapon. "Send the final coded signal to all cells," he ordered. "Operation Phantom begins at their first strike. Remember, no heroics, no direct confrontation. We fight like water, formless, flowing, impossible to grasp, drowning them before they realize they're in over their heads." The assembled leaders nodded. Humanity had spent its history fighting against itself, developing ever more sophisticated ways of warfare. Now those centuries of conflict would serve a purpose none could have foreseen. As the Vextari fleet approached Earth, confident in their superior technology and tactical analysis, they remained unaware of a fundamental truth. Humans had turned their entire civilization into a trap, every piece of technology a potential weapon, every structure a potential ambush. They were about to learn why humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its weapons, but its ability to adapt, to transform, to turn apparent weakness into unprecedented strength. The silent response was about to become a deafening revelation. Dr. Maya Patel watched through quantum-linked sensors as the massive Vextari warships entered Earth's atmosphere. From her position in the deep underground command center of Operation Thunderstrike, she could see what the aliens couldn't: the invisible web of nanoscale machines that now permeated Earth's atmosphere, each one programmed with a single purpose. Their shields are at maximum, Lieutenant Sarah Foster reported. They're expecting conventional resistance, orbital defense platforms, missile launches, energy weapons. But not this, Maya whispered, her augmented eyes tracking the swarm of microscopic machines now attaching themselves to the crystalline hulls of the alien vessels. Execute Phase 1. The nanites activated simultaneously, their quantum processors analyzing and adapting to the complex crystalline structures of Vextari technology. This was the fruit of 6 months of preparation, studying the debris from their first encounter, understanding how their biocrystal tech functioned at the molecular level. Supreme Commander Terra stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching with satisfaction as their fleet descended toward the human capital cities. The primitive species had barely mounted a defense, their orbital platforms falling silent, their military bases seemingly abandoned. Begin the containment protocol, Terra ordered. Target their power infrastructure first. The command cut short as every crystalline surface in the ship suddenly shifted color, turning from transparent to opaque black. Across the entire fleet, the same transformation was taking place. Our systems are being altered at the molecular level, a technician reported, panic evident even through the translator. Some kind of technological infection. Maya allowed herself a small smile as she watched the chaos unfold. Phase 2, she ordered. The nanites, now fully integrated with the Vextari ship's crystalline matrices, began their programmed sequence. The aliens had built their entire civilization on crystal technology, never imagining it could be turned against them. Now those same crystals were being reprogrammed at the quantum level. Terra watched in horror as their supposedly impregnable warships began to transform. Crystal structures that had taken centuries to grow and perfect were being rewritten in minutes. Impossible, the Supreme Commander whispered. Their technology is too primitive for this. That's where you made your mistake. Maya's voice came through their own communication systems, now hijacked by the nanite swarm. You judged us by our technology, not our potential. Execute Phase 3. The transformation accelerated. Weapon systems transformed into harmless light displays. Navigation crystals rearranged themselves into useless geometrical patterns. Life support remained functional. Humanity wanted to make a point, not commit genocide. Across Earth's major cities, the seemingly abandoned streets suddenly came alive with holographic displays, showing the Vextari fleet helplessly suspended in the air. Their mighty warships now little more than crystalline sculptures. You thought we would fight you with missiles and energy weapons, Maya continued, her voice echoing through every Vextari ship. But we humans have learned that the best way to win a war is to change its very nature. We turned your greatest strength into your greatest vulnerability. The underground command center erupted in cheers as data streamed in. The entire Vextari invasion fleet, over 300 ships, had been neutralized without a single direct shot fired. But Maya knew this was just the beginning. Supreme Commander, she addressed Terra directly, consider this a demonstration. You came to contain us, believing us too primitive to deserve our place among the stars. Instead, you've discovered why humanity has survived every catastrophe in our history. We don't just adapt, we transform. We don't just fight, we revolutionize the very concept of warfare. As if to emphasize her point, the crystalline structures of the Vexteri ships began to glow with new patterns, forming words in their own language. This is your only warning. Leave Earth space, or the next demonstration will be considerably less gentle. The Vexteri fleet retreated in disarray, their mighty warships now barely able to maintain basic flight functions. But Maya and the other leaders knew this wasn't over. They had shown humanity's capabilities, but also revealed their greatest technological advancement. The real war was just beginning. They'll be back, General Santos stated the obvious. And they'll try to adapt their technology to resist our nanites. Maya nodded, already reviewing data from the encounter. Good. Let them try. Every adaptation they make will teach us more about their technology. Every defense they create will give us new ways to innovate. They still don't understand. This isn't just a war of weapons or tactics. It's a war of innovation, and that's a war humanity has never lost. Colonel Zara Walker crouched in the ruins of what had once been Singapore's business district, her quantum camouflage suit rendering her invisible to both visual and crystal tech scanning. The Vexteri had returned as expected, but this time they'd come prepared. Their new weapons were designed to be purely mechanical, free from the crystal technology that humans had so effectively corrupted. Target approaching, whispered Lieutenant Chen through their neural link. New model assault platform. 0 crystal components detected. Zara smiled behind her stealth mask. The aliens were learning, adapting. But so were humans. All units, execute Protocol Omega. Across the seemingly abandoned city, thousands of microscopic sensors activated. The Vexteri had expected humans to hide underground. Instead, they had turned their cities into vast tactical networks, every piece of debris concealing smart matter that could transform from simple rubble into complex machinery in seconds. The alien assault platform, a massive walking tank bristling with projectile weapons, moved cautiously through the streets. Its crew had been briefed extensively on human tactics, warned about the nanite swarms that had humiliated their first invasion force. They scanned constantly for electronic signatures, energy readings, anything that might betray human presence. They found nothing, because they were looking for the wrong things. Now, Zora commanded. The street itself came alive. Fragments of concrete and steel flowed together like liquid mercury, forming complex geometric patterns that the Vexteri had never encountered. Human engineers had spent months studying how the aliens thought, how they fought, and had designed countermeasures that worked on principles their enemies couldn't comprehend. Impossible, the Vexteri commander transmitted as their walking tank suddenly began to sink into what appeared to be normal pavement. The ground. It's not solid anymore. That's the problem with fighting humans. Zara transmitted on their frequency. We don't play by anyone's rules but our own. The smart matter pavement had transformed into a semi-liquid state, but one that maintained its structural integrity through quantum entanglement. The alien tank, designed to resist traditional weapons, was helpless against this fundamental violation of what they understood about material science. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. The Vexteri had come expecting to counter the tactics that had defeated their first invasion. Instead, they found humans had developed entirely new methods of warfare. Cities transformed into vast tactical systems, buildings that could shift their internal geometry at will, environmental systems that could be reprogrammed on the fly to create impossible conditions. In orbit, Admiral Sarah Chen watched the tactical displays with satisfaction. They still don't understand, she commented to her staff. They think warfare is about weapons and tactics. For us, it's about imagination and adaptation. The quantum communications network lit up with reports from around the world. In Moscow, temperature manipulation systems had frozen Vexteri ground forces in their tracks. In Cairo, smart dust clouds had transformed the desert itself into a weapon. In Rio, bioengineered plants had grown to ensnare alien dropships in minutes. Report from Dr. Patel's team. Lieutenant Rodriguez announced. The analysis of captured Vexteri tech is complete. They've isolated the fundamental principles of their faster-than-light drive systems. Chen nodded. Even while defending Earth, humans were learning, adapting, improving. Every piece of alien technology captured or destroyed was studied, understood, and often improved upon. The Vexteri had worried about human advancement before. Now they were witnessing just how quickly humans could progress when truly challenged. Back in Singapore, Zara watched as the smart matter consumed the alien tank, breaking it down into its component elements for analysis. The Vexteri crew had been safely contained, their combat suits disabled by targeted electromagnetic pulses that shouldn't have been possible according to their understanding of physics. We're ready for Phase 2, she reported through the quantum network. The aliens have committed their mechanical forces exactly as predicted. Time to show them why that was a mistake. Around the world, human forces prepared to demonstrate yet another leap in tactical evolution. The Vexteri had abandoned their crystal technology to avoid human nanite corruption. In doing so, they had walked straight into humanity's next trap. Their mechanical weapons were about to encounter something far worse than nanite swarms. Human-developed quantum field manipulation. You know what they say, Zara transmitted to her teams as they prepared to launch the counterattack. If your enemy is expecting magic tricks, show them real magic instead. Supreme Commander Terret stood before the Vexteri High Council, crystalline form dulled with fatigue and defeat. The holographic displays showed the impossible. Humans hadn't just defeated their forces, they had fundamentally changed the nature of warfare itself. They've developed quantum field manipulation beyond anything we've seen, Terret reported. Our mechanical forces were transformed into energy states we can't even measure. Their cities aren't just battlegrounds, they're weapons that rewrite the laws of physics on a local level. In Earth orbit, Dr. Maya Patel and Admiral Chen watched through quantum sensors as the massive Vexteri home fleet assembled. This would be their final push. Nearly 10,000 ships, representing the combined might of a civilization that had dominated space for millennia. They're desperate now, Chen observed. They realize if they don't stop us here, human innovation will surpass them within years, not centuries. Maya nodded, her augmented eyes processing streams of data from Earth's new defensive grid. They still think this is about military might. They haven't realized this war was over the moment they forced us to innovate. The Vexteri fleet advanced in perfect formation, their ships now protected by multiple redundant systems, crystal tech, mechanical systems, and energy fields they believed humans couldn't possibly understand. They had analyzed every human tactic, prepared countermeasures for every strategy they'd encountered. All forces, initiate ascension protocol. Maya transmitted through the quantum network. Across Earth, something unprecedented began to happen. The smart matter that humans had used to defend their cities started to rise, forming impossible geometric patterns in the sky. The very atmosphere began to shimmer with quantum possibilities. By all the first ones, a Vexteri scientist transmitted. They're not just manipulating matter and energy, they're manipulating probability itself. The human defense wasn't just a shield or a weapon. It was a fundamental reorganization of reality around Earth. Every innovation humans had developed during the war, every principle they'd learned from studying Vexteri technology, had led to this moment. Final warning. Maya's voice echoed through every ship in the Vexteri fleet. You came to contain us because you feared how quickly we advance. You forced us to innovate beyond anything we'd imagined possible. Retreat now, or witness the full extent of human potential unleashed. The Vexteri commander hesitated. Their sensors showed energy readings that defied their most advanced theories. The humans had taken their understanding of crystal technology, combined it with Earth's quantum physics, and created something entirely new. You cannot be allowed to continue, Terret transmitted. You're too unpredictable, too dangerous. No, Maya interrupted. We're not dangerous. We're evolutionary. We're innovative. We're human. And you just helped us prove why that makes us uniquely powerful. The quantum field around Earth pulsed once. In an instant, the laws of physics that the Vexteri understood and relied upon simply changed. Their weapons refused to fire. Their shields existed in states of both active and inactive simultaneously. Their faster-than-light drives began calculating routes through dimensions that hadn't existed moments before. "What have you done?" "Enx," Terra demanded. "We've changed the rules," Maya replied simply. "Not just of warfare, but of reality itself. Your ships aren't damaged. They're simply operating in a universe that works differently now. A universe that we understand, and you don't." The Vexteri fleet hung helpless in space, their mighty civilization brought to a standstill not by superior firepower, but by humanity's ability to comprehend and alter the fundamental nature of reality itself. "You feared our potential," Admiral Chen transmitted to the Vexteri command. "You tried to contain it. Instead, you forced us to achieve that potential centuries ahead of schedule. The question now is, are you willing to learn from us, or will you continue to fear what you don't understand?" Hours later, in the quantum-shifted space above Earth, the first peace treaty between humans and the Vexteri was signed. Not as conqueror and conquered, but as teacher and student. The aliens had come to contain humanity, only to discover that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its weapons or tactics, but in its unlimited capacity to learn, adapt, and revolutionize everything it touched. As Maya watched the Vexteri ships depart, now equipped with human observers to help them adapt to the new physics humanity had created, she couldn't help but smile. "They wanted to see if we were ready for the galaxy," she said to Chen. "Instead, they learned the galaxy wasn't ready for us."